Hey guys, Sean here. Thanks to everyone who tunes into the Play It Up podcast. We really love doing this podcast and really appreciate everyone who listens. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram by searching for Play It Up Podcast. You can find the full video podcast on YouTube, and you can listen to us on Spotify, Apple and Google Podcasts, Anchor, and more. If you want to ask us a question, you can do so on Anchor, and your question will be featured on the podcast. If you like what we do, please remember to like, review, comment, follow or subscribe, and please recommend us to your friends. Thanks guys, and enjoy the episode.
And we are back. Welcome back everybody to a episode of the Play It Up podcast, but it's a special podcast because it's also an episode of the Game the System podcast. It's a freaking dual podcast. Woo!
Some could say it's 69.
You might say it is of 69, and I definitely like to think of it as that.
Good night too.
Yeah, so I'll do my usual intro, and we just happen to be on episode 69, so hence 69 joke. There may be more. But hello and welcome to Game the System podcast, episode 69, a podcast about the people that play retro, arcade, modern video games, pinball. I've forgotten all the things now. Yeah. What's the date?
The 13th.
It's the 13th of November, 2021, and my name is Marc Bell.
My name's John.
My name's Matt.
And
My
let's
name's
go
Sean.
around the room. Oh, there we go.
Sorry. I'm from the other podcast. We are the less professional, clearly.
In Germany, we have Sean there. I'm Mike.
I'm Neil.
I'm Dennis.
Excellent.
Nice.
Yes, and we are doing a dual podcast, 69ing our two podcasts together for shits and giggles.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, as Mike does a sort of weird hand motion there.
Yes.
So
What's
cool.
a
How do we
69
do
like?
this?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's not how you're 69, as far as I know.
Oh, I thought it was just hands.
Ah.
You've been missing out, Mike.
Oh, damn.
So I suppose we'll just get into things, talk about what each other have all been doing, just like our regular podcast, I suppose. So might as well start with you, Mark, because I think you've got the biggest news of the day.
But
so
the
yeah,
one.
what's been happening in your world?
A lot. Yeah, a lot. Despite not having a lot of time to play games, a lot of gaming stuff has been going on. I'll leave the main one till after, but before I talk about that, one of the things I got involved with was a Ghouls and Ghosts speedrun race. I think it was Denny, you mentioned that on one of the podcasts, one of the Play It Up podcasts before,
Yes.
that you'd watched the races. Yeah. So I was a participant in those races, and it was freaking awesome. It was such a good time. It was a best of 3 race. You get set up with your opponent. It's seeded, double brackets, all that kind of stuff. And my first opponent, he beat me out of the best of 3. So I was immediately chucked into the losers bracket. And then from there, I managed to crawl my way through the losers bracket, get into the winners bracket. And then the person who pushed me into the losers bracket originally, I faced him again in the winners bracket and managed to beat him. So I got my revenge. That was fun. And then keep going and got all the way to 4th place. So I was very, very happy with that. Actually, just winning one race, I would have been happy with, but managed to get into the top 4. So I was very, very happy. It was a really good time.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
How does that work exactly? And like, what's it run on? I guess you have to stream it, or
Yeah, so everyone streams their game on Twitch. The qualifying rounds were done with one of the competitors restreaming the game, so combining. So it's a speedrun race, right? So it's one person against another person. They both hit the start button at the same time. The first person to finish the game is the winner of that round, and it's best of 3. So one of the competitors, what he would do is combine 2 streams into one on his one stream, so that everyone can just watch that one stream and watch the races as they happen. But then for the final games, the final rounds, it was much more professional, and that was hosted on Speed Gaming. And Speed Gaming, if you're not familiar, is basically a 24/7 speed race channel. They're constantly doing races of all games, all retro games, and they've got people who are actually hired to organize everything. They have channels where you join, and the commentators, talk to you, so you get set up properly and everything's working as it should be. Super professional and really, really awesome. So yeah, the finals were hosted on Speed Gaming, and they had their own Twitch channel, and whenever they're streaming, they've got hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of viewers, sometimes up to the thousands, etc. So yeah, that's how that kind of worked.
Oh yeah,
great.
I actually jumped in to see your last game, which was that was incredibly exciting. Like I didn't know much about the speed run and how you were performing within it, but from what I remember, you lost a couple of early lives, which got you on the back foot a bit, and then all of a sudden the person who seemed to be quite in front of you lost a couple of lives, and it became very even at the end. And I can't remember being so excited watching like a head-to-head game. So yeah, it was great to watch, man.
All came down to a knee lift in the end, and that was what separated it. Which was
on the last boss. I think we were 10 seconds apart or something like that in that last race, and that's unusual. It's usually the competitors will be a minute apart or maybe 2 minutes apart, maybe longer. It depends how things go. But that one was super close and super clutch. I was clenching the whole way for sure.
Everybody that was watching. Yeah, it was epic.
Yeah,
I remember the whole event being pretty exciting. Sorry.
No, you're right.
There was something else that happened controversial, and maybe Mark, you can remind us exactly. But there was a really close race, and there was what seemed like a clear winner, but then they didn't play through the credits all the way through, and that disqualified their attempt or something.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
There's this female competitor Numbers, and it's really awesome having women in the tournament. And it's hilarious actually, because she's known for doing that particular thing, which is basically a double knockout on the end boss. So if you kill the end boss at the same time he kills you at the exact same point, the game thinks that you've beaten it and it's okay, and it's it starts going through the credits. But what it's actually doing in the background of the game, which you don't see, is it's going through the game over message and then going through the do you want to continue in the countdown. But you don't see any of that because that's happening all in the logic in the background.
Jeez.
And then once that countdown finishes, the game actually crashes because it doesn't know what to do, because it's actually displaying to the player the end credits. And the game just resets. And so if you do a double knockout, that's not regarded as a proper finish. And therefore you get disqualified. And so there was just this funny occasion where she submitted a run to speedrun.com prior. It was quite a while ago. She had a double knockout in it, and so therefore she got disqualified out of that. And then she got known as the person who does double knockouts. And so just happens to get a double knockout in the speedrun race that knocked her out of that tournament as well. So it's just
wow.
it was funny but brutal at the same
Yeah,
time.
So nasty. Oh man.
Yeah.
And it's you could never do that on purpose. You could never kill the boss and get killed at the same time on purpose. It's impossible.
Wow.
But she just somehow manages to do it at the worst possible times.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And the rule is it just doesn't count, even though you killed the boss.
Yep, that's right.
You still got.
They're looking at
life.
changing that
Yeah.
rule. They're looking at changing that rule actually, just because you've obviously finished the game.
Yeah.
So yeah, but
Mm.
But have
the
you
rules
truly
were the
finished
rules
it if
at
you're
that
dead
time.
at the same time? That's a
Exactly.
tricky one.
I suppose you wouldn't know that you've won because you're dead.
That's
If
right.
a bear
So-
shits in the woods and there's no one around to hear it,
Yeah.
has it
You-
really
you-
taken a shit?
You've saved the princess, but you can't know her measurements.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ah,
The princess just floats down and no one's there to catch her.
ah.
It's very sad.
So,
That's-
as you said before,
yeah.
you've obviously got some big news for later in the podcast. Is there anything else you want to tell us about that you've been doing lately, or?
No, I don't think so. The rest I'll just talk about later.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's pretty much been it's been taking up all my time. So yeah, I'll talk about that a bit later.
No dramas. So I might shoot it through to you now, Matt, because Matt's actually been on the stream at the
the
actual
longest.
time we were supposed to meet up.
Yeah.
So, he's been waiting here for a while and he's lonesome. So yeah, Matt, what have you been up to?
For me, I mean, it's the same old as I usually do, which I can explain to people from, listeners of the other podcast who don't know.
Washing machines.
Yeah.
Washing machines. No, we're past that, past the washing machines. But really, what ends up happening in my spare time, roaming the streets, looking for junk that people have thrown out on the side of the road.
Picking up CRTs. Yep.
Yes. Well, that's. I mean, as it turns out, that's what you get a lot. And so I have a lot of CRTs. I mean, so the most recent one I got is like this 30 centimeter TV. It's a digital, which is the Dick Smith brand.
Dick Smith brand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Digital.
Dick Smith.
It's the smallest one that I've ever seen
The smallest one you've ever seen.
that has component inputs on it. So I don't know. I don't know what is going to come out. I haven't turned it on yet. I haven't really had it. And also been rained on. It's been rainy lately.
Classic Dick the Innovator, mate. He was always ahead of the curve,
Yeah.
with his Temp-Tins, and then Tim Tams ripped him off.
Yep.
Poor
Is
Dick.
that- is that how it works?
That's a very specific Aussie reference there. Oh god.
It is.
Yeah. Sorry.
You'd
to
say you got
interrupt.
dick punched.
Yep.
Oh,
That's a
that
bad joke.
definitely needs to be talking to later about what a dick punch actually is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's-
We'll go into
Besides where it
this.
obviously sounds.
There's conditions for that. Like, yeah. Yep.
So, obviously, like, there's just heaps of pickups in Sydney for some reason around your
So many
around
pumps.
the inner
Eastern suburbs.
west. Oh, eastern suburbs. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah.
I mean, it's not like it was, to be honest. I moved here like 10 years ago. There were so many more. It was the time when people were throwing out TVs, but I wasn't on the bandwagon and I wasn't picking them up at the time. But now that they've become a bit more rare, I'm on the lookout, and yeah, it seems to be still available. We can get some pretty good stuff. But you got to, there's some effort. Like I look at the council website and figure out where the areas are where there's a pickup on that weekend.
God, it's gotten to that point.
Oh yeah, I've got printed maps. I actually made a Google map, a custom map where you can draw outlines and like color in the area, and I put in the date.
Oh, shit.
It's
So
a
when you're
treasure
out-
hunt, man.
It
That's
is.
awesome.
It's pretty fun. Yeah. So when you're out driving around, you're like your dots, trying to get to the, it's green this week.
Shit, yeah.
Nice.
then
I've seen
different
some over
councils.
here, man.
That's
So
amazing.
I do the same thing. I don't like look to when stuff's going to be chucked out, but there just seems to be random piles of crap around sometimes, and I always look for CRTs.
Mm.
So around
It's
here,
fun.
they let you do a calling pickup, like a booking, but there's also a scheduled one for your area. This is how my council works, but also the one right adjacent. So there's a lot of area I can go to like on one weekend.
Right.
Nice.
Just like a bin chicken going through some trash and
Yeah.
grabbing the goods. So, no, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
But other than TVs,
The
last
one
week,
but one that likes like cool CRTs instead.
that's it.
CRT chicken.
Sometimes you do
awesome.
find weird things, but also last week got.
Oh,
I mean, you're looking through a pile and found PlayStation 2 controllers, 2 of them, and a PlayStation 2 power supply. Right. So what the next thing you're expecting to find is the PlayStation 2, and so there's a big pile of stuff, and spent a long time looking through it, but did not find it.
Maybe someone already grabbed it.
Yeah, someone snared it.
Yeah, but they're missing all the other bits now.
The controllers are worth more than the console anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually
Seem to
decent.
be.
Like, you could sell that on eBay, $20 a controller or something, right? Like, not that maybe that's not what you're doing, but
You could, if one was so inclined.
yeah.
I think he's hoarding.
I am a bit. I got a lot of PlayStation 3 controllers, like 6 or 7 of them.
Yeah.
Is that from finding them on the street?
Yeah.
PlayStation 3 controllers, really?
Yeah.
Dude, you're a fucking gun at this. That's awesome.
He used the bin chicken.
Yeah.
And a whole lot of games.
Cool.
I don't have them here to show, but yeah, like in my garage, like a whole stack of PS3 games and Xbox 360. They're the things that seem to be disappearing. They're going on the street now.
Are you doing it in a hazmat suit because it's Corona times, and then you sanitize your whole body when you get home?
No, it might be an idea, but
No, just kidding, dude. That's really cool.
It's amazing.
Who needs to go to EB Games or any game shops? Just go.
just wander the eastern suburbs and
maybe you could like hire
go hunting.
Maybe it could be like a day with Matt where you can pay someone pays $50 to just hang out with you and just like scrounge through some good areas that
we're going to this green area today.
Yeah,
we'll see if we can find it.
That'd be a real like Matt's all Aussie adventures,
Aussie CRT adventures,
junk scrounging. Like, I'd watch that. I'd watch the hell out of that. That'd be awesome.
Oh yeah, what's that?
So, Matt, I know we were talking before the podcast started that you've been playing a bit of Snow Bros for the game of the month for Game of the System.
Yeah, that's mostly the game time that I get these days. Is I just put it into the game of the month, whatever it is. Snow Brothers this month, which I don't know. I don't have a lot of history with the game, so I played it a little bit back in the day, and it's because like a friend of mine had an Amiga and we played it on that.
It's pretty fun.
I'm not great at it. I know the rules a bit, but not great at it. So I'm still learning. Playing.
For anyone who doesn't know Snow Bros, I think Dennis described it as budget bobble. Is that right? It's kind of like
pretty much
like bubble, right?
Yeah,
on a budget. Yes.
Yeah.
On a budget. I kind of like it better.
I like
it. It's kind of good. Yeah, like it just has a similar dynamic. That's all. I think that the whole thing about rolling like all the built-up snowballs and clearing the level, that's just there's a lot of satisfaction in that. Just clearing the board, it's the best.
And collecting all the zenny.
Well, yeah, I guess get all that paper, but it just I'm having Black Tiger flashbacks. The Zenny coins.
It is kind of a bit like Bubble because it's single screen and if you collect them all in one go and then pop them or push them, whatever you do in whatever game, you get a huge amount of points. So, but they're kind of very different, but at the same time very similar.
The thing in learning the game, it's like with Bubble similar, learning the behavior of the enemies.
Yeah,
it's the thing that lets you figure out what's going to happen and let you survive.
Yeah, and I still haven't figured out how to make the power up spawn.
No,
is that not random?
I thought it might have been completely random.
No, it depends on where all the enemies land, I think, and it's something you got to do, but I don't know exactly how to do it yet, or else I'll be doing it.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think Evan said in the chat last night that it was where the enemies land in whatever level.
Yeah, if I find out, I'll let you know. I don't know.
Yep, that'd be handy.
Who's the current leader for that at the moment?
At the
Dennis,
moment, it's me.
You're up there. Hey,
Yeah,
Mark.
900,000.
You're a bit of a beast at it, aren't you?
I
Yeah.
used to be able to 1cc it back in the day, but I don't know. I probably could do it again if I put in some time, but generally I don't get much time to play Game of the Month. But yeah, I've only had 4 games of it so far, and almost got 1 million points. So it's sort of the memories are somewhat in the back of my mind, but not all of it. So yeah,
It's pretty cool that you can pick it up like obviously 1 million is like quite a high score. That's
awesome.
really cool, man.
Yeah. It's funny how I've got a memory for games, and yet I still can't remember, my mum's birthday.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Sure.
Me either, dude. I'm with you on that one.
So is million close to a max? Like
Nah.
Yeah, what's the world record?
I think the world record is 3 million, something like that.
It's 2.7 on Twin Galaxies at the moment.
Okay, 2.7. Yeah.
Yeah, Aaron Hall.
From
One
Up.
guy from One Up, right? He's a beast at it, isn't he?
Shout out to Aaron. Yeah.
I think my PB is 2.3 or around there, something like that.
Yeah, nice.
But again, that's back in the day. I mean, I'll never be able to do that again unless I put a bit of time into it.
Yeah, for sure.
You could be King Snowbro.
Yes, King Snowbros.
So I might cross over to you now, John. How have you been? Have you had any pickups or playing any games lately?
Yeah, find any CRTs, John?
Actually, I saw one on the side of the road really close to my house last week, and I drove past it going to work, and I was like, that's there on the way back. And I knew my wife would get really annoyed with me. But it wasn't there. It was also being heavily rained on. So it looked like a pretty decent size, and it had the same, I think it looked like a Sony, but I don't know because it was so quick just driving past. But actually, one thing I wanted to mention was, so I've been playing Command & Conquer Remastered, which is a bit of a throwback to the beginning of our podcast as well.
Yeah, I was listening to that today, man. I was like, whoa.
Flashbacks.
Yeah.
Wow.
So how I got into it was because I've been listening to heaps more gaming music, or music from games while I've been working. I've been finding it really good because generally it doesn't have lyrics, and sometimes I find singing a bit distracting. So game music can really help keep me focused. And I found this thing, the Tiberian Sons, which is Frank Kelpacki, I think it's pronounced. He's the guy that wrote the music for Command & Conquer, and I think all the Command & Conquer games, and it's very heavy metal type music. They actually did a live show at a MagFest a while back now. I think it was 2017 or something. And to be honest, the band, they were a bit loose. They weren't very tight. It sounded like they didn't have a lot of time to rehearse. But the show is so good because they've got this awesome light show, and they've got this big screen behind them showing footage of the game and all the live action videos and stuff and intros from the game. And some of the actors are really big actors too, like James L. Jones, and of course they had Tim Curry and so many other people in the later games. After they did Red Alert, where they camped it up with Red Alert really, and then Red Alert 2 went even further, and they just kept playing up on that. When they got to Red Alert 3, they started getting big actors, and that's when Tim Curry's in there. And
was John Cleese one of them? Am I going crazy and saying
so? No, I don't think so.
You are going crazy, Neil.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
This is great. Now there's 2 podcasts worth of people to rag on Neil.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, Neil. Seriously.
John Cleese, what a grip.
Jeez, mate. It wasn't bloody Monty Python, mate.
If only.
Was he in that?
If only.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank God.
Yeah, it's Anyway, that show, if people are into Command and Conquer, highly recommend checking out that MagFest live show because it's really cool. And there's something about, I wish I could have been there, or if they ever do it again, somewhere that's accessible to me, I would really want to see that show because in Command and Conquer, the Brotherhood of Nod has this whole real propaganda kind of feeling, and they've got all these slogans like peace through power and stuff like that. And people were literally yelling from the crowd like, for the Brotherhood of Nod, peace through power and stuff like that. And it felt like being that. There was bits like where it felt like you were being indoctrinated into the Brotherhood. And because they had the big screen and they have like Kane come up and stuff. And
Does it end in a mass suicide? I hope not.
But it like had that really strong feeling because of the audience that made it feel real. So yeah, for anyone that's into that, highly recommend checking that out. And I was just listening to it so much, and then I had to buy the game and play it again. And I realized the first game, so I've only played the GDI campaign, the good guys, and yeah, I realized in those full motion videos, they were very vanilla, like they're just appearing to be like a military type thing, and there's nothing funny or campy about it. And Kane's a bit off the wall because he's like a cult leader kind of thing. But apart from that, it's pretty straight. So it's only until they get to Red Alert that they start like really hamming it up, I guess.
Did you say that the original guy who made the music for the games is in the band, or did I imagine that?
Yes. Yeah, he leads.
You said
the
yes.
band.
So which answer to which question?
You didn't
Yes.
imagine it.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
So he is in the band.
he's leading
Yes,
the band. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
So I'm pretty sure he's actually like a drummer mainly, but he wrote all the music for the games. And
Yeah, right.
yeah, and so he explains it actually in the show. It's a pretty cool story. He didn't know what MagFest was, and he got a message from just a random guy saying, "Hey, I've done some remixes of the music from Command and Conquer. What do you think?" And he's like, "Yeah, it sounds good. That's cool." And then the guy messaged him back like 2 weeks later and said, "I'm performing it at MagFest. You should come check it out." And then it wasn't till later that some other people were saying that MagFest was really cool, and he eventually, I don't think he went that first time, but he eventually decided to go, and then got that same guy who originally messaged him about doing remixes to get the band together kind of thing. So it's almost like this young fan who was into the game then got to become like part of the band as well. And yeah, they all seem like quite talented musicians. It's a really cool show. Definitely highly recommend checking that out.
I'm going to check that out.
That's cool.
Sure.
Also,
I
just
played
to
it when I
have
was a
real
kid.
instruments to like actually see them play it live, like with real instruments. There's guitar solos. It's really rocky. Yeah,
I love that kind of thing. Like they did a pretty good one I heard about for Sega as well. And I've watched some of the Star Wars movies with a live orchestra. That was pretty amazing as well. But it sounded so accurate to the real thing that it was like, I don't know, it didn't sound live almost. So it was almost too good where you want it sometimes to sound, like you're actually there. But I've only ever been to one or two of them. I think I did a Harry Potter one as well. That was pretty cool. But yeah,
I've done a Lord of the Rings one.
Oh wow. That would have been pretty epic.
Did it go for 12 hours? Or?
I think it did actually.
Yeah, was it just one of the movies or all of them?
I think it was all of them. All three of them, yeah.
Oh,
all the
they
musicians
play a lot
are
of the
passing
same
out.
music, don't they? Like a lot of it's repeated throughout all of the movies, I suppose.
Yeah.
So,
that was at the Opera House, I believe.
Nice.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. It's funny you actually talk about the Red Alert music, I about like, you know, I I had to pack up. Me and my brothers-in-law had to move house for Jen's mum, and we had to put away. We had to pack up this room, which was like a book room. When like, I mean, like it's kind of like not a library, but like the whole room was like shelf to shelf books from Jen's dad, and we're walking, like we're plugging along, just like packing away all these books, and like we're all moving at a pretty slow pace. Like we all have kids and stuff, and like the last thing you want to do on a Saturday is go around and pack up like this whole freaking room of books.
So it's really shit.
Yeah.
I'd rather be out with Matt treasure hunting.
Exactly. So my brothers are like, oh, you know, we've got to get pumped about this. So we've got to get into it. So they're like, what do we do to like, you know, get this going? So we ended up getting like there was beers anyway, but like we all cracked a beer.
It helps.
And we put I said to him, there's nothing that will pump you up more than the Red Alert theme song, like the introduction song.
Yeah.
So we chucked it on and we start chanting like books, books, books. And music just start packing away and stuff. So it's really funny that you bring up that particular music.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the biggest, like nerdiest thing ever. Just a bunch of dudes listening to that song chanting books.
That's a window into neon.
Oh, well, I just remember as a kid, like, because I had it on PlayStation. I had it on PlayStation 1, which was like probably one of the shittest ports for Red Alert. Like, it was way better on computer from my understanding. But I can't remember like being as pumped up, because like it starts with like that, like there's kind of like a corridor with like these red flashing lights at the start, and then there's fucking tanks and like machine guns happening, and this like really kind of like industrial kind of metal that I didn't really know much about at the time. So like it was really significant in my mind, like the introduction to Red Alert. So it's cool that you mentioned it. That's awesome.
I can picture Neil like as a little kid doing like this wild interpretive dance while listening to it, like silos needed.
I used to love that Tanya chick. She was awesome. Like, you just
let's
with
rock!
a dog or something, and like, she used to just blow shit up with like 2 handguns or something like that.
She was awesome.
Yeah.
Do you ever go to Laser Force where they use her voice as like the "Let's rock" and then at the end, "Game over, man, game over."
Yeah.
Maybe that wasn't her. Yeah, did she say that? "Game over, man"?
No, that's like Alien.
She definitely said like,
that's
Alien.
Oh, fucking Sean and not knowing fucking aliens.
Actually,
Let's Rock is aliens as well.
It is, yeah.
Oh,
That's Vasquez.
All right, I got my wires crossed, guys. Fucking sorry. Why don't you go chant about books, Neil, you nerd?
Books.
Card.
You wish you were there.
I kind of do, just to laugh at you, though. That's so funny.
Yeah, when you watch the show, there's no doubt that Red Alert intro song is the most hyped song. Like when he gets to it, the crowd goes off.
Oh man, I think I might put a little bit of it in the in the episode, or Dennis.
There's an idea.
Maybe after the intro or something. I'm not sure.
You could even mix in some of You could even mix in some of Neil's books.
Once you get the beat. Once you get the beat, you know where I'm saying books. Like, it was great.
Oh my God.
You were going to say, when we were packing up all the books, we found, Command and Conquer, Red Alert.
Yeah.
I thought that's where it was going.
I 100% thought that too. Just ended up with Neil chanting books with his brothers-in-law.
Yeah.
Found his penthouse collection.
Wait, these aren't books. These are magazines. Magazines.
Doesn't roll off the tongue quite as well.
It's the same.
What have you been doing, Sean?
Me?
Hey.
I've been curating this wonderful arcade collection you can see behind me. No.
Yeah, that's a pretty good collection. But
Yeah.
strangely, all the marquees are blurred out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want people to know how rich I am. They're some of the rarest titles. Yeah.
Right, yeah, fair enough. You also don't want people knowing what games they are when they walk up to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Has to be a
More
surprise,
of a surprise. Yeah.
Yep.
For sure.
And strangely,
what-
the CRTs are all blurry too.
Yeah, I got them from Matt. They've all been rained on.
Those dodgy eastern suburb CRTs.
Yeah, all Dick Smith brand rubbish.
Digital is good.
I've been playing. I wrote a few of the games down actually. So I picked up.
You planned?
Yeah, I did it like just before we started, so kind of. I picked up Konami Crazy Races for the Game Boy Advance, and I'd never heard of it
Crazy
before.
Races.
Yeah, it's a very good, possibly better than Mario Kart if you are into sort of the Japanese and the Konami titles.
Controversial.
Yeah, it is, but it was just felt
Big
kind of
call.
like a fresh version of Mario Kart, and there were little license tests, which is just going to make Mike extremely excited because he loves.
I
Gran
heard he
Turismo.
loves going for licenses.
He does. He loves it. He's wild. It has like they're basic license tests, but then there's also hidden characters to unlock, which I thought was really cool. And one of them is Vic Viper from Gradius, so that was really cool.
How does the big Viper sit in a cart?
You're just floating above the ground and you're flying in the plane.
Oh, okay,
in
right.
the aircraft. Yeah, I think it's actually like the best thing in the game and makes it maybe a bit too easy, but you only get it like right at the end once you've already completed the game. So I finished that. That was awesome. I got it in the box from this little retro game shop, the only one in Stuttgart, I believe, called Velinix or Velinix. I don't know how to say it, but a really cool little like Japanese reminiscent game shop because it's a small space, everything's stacked like quite high, and they are presenting everything quite nicely. And yeah, good dudes there, and that's a really nice like little safe haven for me to go there every couple of weeks or whatever. And good prices too. I think I picked that up in the box for 20 to 25 euros, maybe a bit more, but not that expensive for a Game Boy Advance game in the box.
Yeah, cool.
Including the plastic like thing to protect it, box protector. Yeah. I really like it. It has like the Japanese little sounds that the characters make and that kind of thing. Like I think when you overtake someone, one of the little cute characters is like "so desu ne." It just feels like super Japanese, and I love that. So I finished that, and I've been playing God of War on PS4, the reboot, I guess. Super nice.
Yeah, it's supposed to be good.
Yeah, really, really good story mode. Quite challenging as well. I upped the difficulty because it wasn't feeling too hard because I wanted to just sort of play through something and not have too much stress. But then I also wanted to feel like I was challenged. So that's been really nice. Like really good acting, good music, crazy graphics, just a really cool all-round game. And other than that, I started playing Blaster Master on NES, playing it via emulation on my Vita, kind of before I go to bed. PlayStation Vita is a great emulation machine if anyone ever wants like a really cool handheld. Also good for just PS1 classics. It can emulate an actual PSP and play Vita games too. So it's can do a lot. It's crazy. And NES Tetris. So I've been watching the World Championships, a bit of that, and it's got me back into it. I've actually started hyper tapping semi-successfully. But I can't. But I don't even think my hyper tapping speed is faster than the DAS. Like I don't think it moves faster than you yet. Sometimes it does. I have to figure out. Like I'm using this controller, and it's not the proper. Oh God.
It's NES controller.
Yeah,
It's not a real SNES controller though, is it?
No, this is an 8-bit dough one, and I need to get like
Oh,
I've got a what is it called, a AV Famicom. So I need to get like a Game Shark or something, and then I can play the proper cartridge with it, and I'm going to get an NES controller because I'd love to max out NTSC Tetris, and I think I can do it. I just have to decide whether I want to do it with hyper tapping, which is like harder to learn, but then it makes it easier to do overall, or just use the DAS, which is like the push and hold left and right.
Yeah. That must
What
be
about
really
the rolling
frustrating.
technique?
Yeah.
Sorry?
About the rolling technique.
The rolling. Yeah, I thought about that as well. But that seems maybe even harder to learn than the hyper tapping. It's very, like the guys that are doing it at a high level, they're still not quite as accurate as a hyper tapper. They can get stuff side to side a bit faster. But as you can imagine, if you're just doing, that looks dodgy, but if you're just doing this on the bottom of the controller.
Episode 69.
Keep going.
Whoa.
Purr for me, baby. If you're just doing that to the bottom of the controller, you can't be as accurate. But when you're tapping, you know how many times you're hitting it, kind of.
Sitting right below you in the video as well.
Yeah, right.
Oh no!
Perfect.
Oh no!
Is it against
Oh,
the
that's
rules
it.
to have
Oh, feeling it all the way from Stuttgart.
Oh yeah. Das ist gut.
in the classic
I don't know.
Tetris,
Yep.
is it against the rules to have a custom controller? Do you know?
It is, yeah. Well, not custom. Like you can have, it has to be an NES controller with original parts and everything. But you can have like a custom overlay, or if you want to get like a different colored D-pad and stuff, some of the players have that. When it's in person at the start of the day of the finals, or even for qualifications, if you bring your own controller, they actually inspect controllers, because if someone can install sort of like some sort of turbo mechanism, that's a huge advantage. Like, but it would be kind of obvious if someone's like a DAS player and they're just holding it and it's just going like whoa, whoa. It'd be like, what the hell's going on there? Yeah, it's definitely one of the most like well-run tournaments, because it's been going now for over 10 years or whatever, the World Championships. And now it's actually a World Championship because it's all online. Before it was, the classic American thing of calling it a World Championship when it's only held in the States. Yeah, sure, everyone can fly there, but some people have to pay like several grand to get there. So it's not exactly open to the world.
Yeah, no.
Or
Plus
the
you have
World
to be let
Series
in.
where it's just American teams.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? World champions when it's just an American thing. Yeah. Oh, they're very patriotic, you got to love them.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
But yeah, it's really well run at the finals. I'm not sure when it's happening, but yeah, I'm pretty excited for that. The person who won it last time was 12 or 13 years old. These kids just can hyper tap like nothing else. It's crazy.
Insane.
I actually would feel better about
watching.
Sorry,
Sean. Sorry.
I'd feel better about getting beaten by a kid than I would by an adult at most video games, because you just know, like, they've been playing since before they could walk sometimes, and they have the capacity to learn, and they have the twitch like muscles and stuff. Like they haven't been beaten down by life like the rest of us yet.
They're not holding the world on their shoulders.
Yeah, exactly. The one thing they have to worry about is like clearing 4 lines in a game of Tetris. So I'm just like, all right, well,
take that, kids.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, so that's basically.
I was going to say, Matt,
yeah.
you'd be watching the championship as well, right?
Should be, but I haven't so far.
Oh.
I mean, the best I can say is like I'm watching, like, there's a channel, a Game Scout, and he does the previews and summaries and all that stuff.
Yeah, you don't really need to watch more than that, though. He's like the sports center, or the sports tonight of Tetris. Kind of recaps everything. So I've just been watching there's a YouTube channel, CTWC Archives, and they put the full brackets up because all the brackets have been played, so the finals are set. And I don't think I'll watch all of those, just some of the players maybe that I like. And I skip through the level 18 for most things, and then watch like when it comes down, like the head-to-head part at the end. Like that's the most exciting, when the stuff that these guys could do is just ridiculous. And it used to be a kill screen when you'd get to level 29, where it'd be like seen as humanly impossible to play, but it's not anymore. It's they call it the thrill screen, kind of, because you can last a few more levels. And when it comes down to a game where someone's down by like 20,000 and they have to just clear singles and doubles on the kill screen, thrill screen, that's really exciting. And with the commentators and everything getting really into it, yeah, it's really cool. It's almost as cool as chanting books and listening to Red Alert music. Not quite. Yeah, almost there.
I mean, what can be?
You could change it to blocks for Tetris.
Good.
Yeah.
They should just, when you get to the thrill screen, that's when the Red Alert music comes on. During
There you go.
Hell yeah.
That'll really hype up the crowd.
Yeah, nice. Well, who should we send it over to? With the little
I think
trio.
we should send it over to Mike. What's Mike been up to recently?
Right, yeah. Last couple of weeks, I don't know, I've been caught up with Scott Tiller from the Pixel Pie podcast, and he's he rents out a room at a local library near his place and sets it up with the projector screens
books
in there. Yeah, true. Literal nerds at a library playing games.
Did you see Neil in the library just running around?
Yeah, just in
covered
the
jelly?
van.
Books.
Yeah. You can't take those, sir.
They're all mine.
But no, I didn't see Neil there. Yeah, it was my turn to bring the hardware, or some of the hardware and software. So I took my old 40-inch Sony Bravia and my PS2, and for the first time I'd ever used it was that Sony PlayStation 1 flight stick that I bought off you, Sean.
Hey, yeah,
giant grey thing. Oh, mate. So
yeah. How is it?
Absolutely awesome. Put on Air Combat 2.
Because I didn't test it before I sold it to you. That's good.
Worked perfect, man. It's really smooth, and it's just changes the whole feel of the game. It's completely different to playing with the DualShock. Like,
hell yeah,
it's awesome. So yeah, had a good go on that. Got some Music 2000 going on the day as well. So that was playing some of my tunes I made back when I was, I don't know, 16 or 17.
What was your DJ name? DJ
Chick Tunes or something. What was it?
Yeah.
No, the song was called Chitechno, but that's
Chitechno, that's right.
Yeah.
Chitechno was the name of the song.
That's the one of two I lost off the memory card. That's gone.
That's right. Yeah, it's gone.
I don't know what the DJ name was. I can't remember what it was. Yeah. Anyway. And then one of the guys there pulled out a PS4, his PS4 Pro inside like a soft suitcase, and it has a screen inside of it. It's like a portable
holy crap.
PS4 thing.
Okay.
And so we were playing we were playing Tony Hawk's 2 remaster on that.
Sweet.
We had a mini comp between us, and
nice, man.
I got the golden 3D printed skateboard, so I was pretty stoked.
Oh, sick. Scott printed that out. Hey, he's got a 3D printer.
Yeah.
Just shout out to pure gold,
Mr. Tiller.
Yeah.
Good on you. Nice one, man. Who did you use? Who's your character of choice?
Oh, we just chose I think we all went Rodney Mullen. We're just going Rodney Mullen. Just
Rodney.
Level playing field. Yeah.
Rodney Rude. Nice one.
So yeah. Apart from that, I've been playing a lot at home. Mostly at Netherworld in the last few weeks. Yeah. So chasing my Gallagher 1.5 million, which is still in construction. Crazy Taxi. So I've got 2 new PBs in Crazy Taxi, and that is because, and it's by like, the first PB was by $6,000 and the next was by 10 grand. They had a dude, I don't know his actual name. He goes by Zigstar, and he's like a crazy taxi demon living in Brisbane. I think his PB is $93,000. Wow. He was going for world records the other 2 weeks ago. And as they went to set up for the world record, they realized that the Crazy Taxi machine has been set on hard.
The whole
world records. Yeah, and world record settings is just like regular or easy. I don't know which.
Oh,
one it
wow.
is. But yeah, my previous PB was I think 6,000 and something, and then I jumped on and got 11,000 in my first go after the different difficulty
Oh
settings.
man, it's pin time.
Yeah,
It's time to get the pin.
Yeah, because they said
It's
they're not
awesome.
going to change the pin score either. Jimmy said.
Oh
Because the
really?
pin score is only like 3.5 or 3,750 or something, right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
That's maybe now one of the
If-
easiest ones.
Even I'll be able to get
For
that.
sure.
Great.
Like
Yeah.
if you,
Yeah,
me too.
The
I
same.
suck at crazy
Yes.
taxi.
you pick up a passenger, you get like 106 seconds to take them anywhere.
Oh, sweet.
Wow.
It's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Does that mean Gary, who plays a lot of Crazy Taxi, that whole time with his crazy scores were on the really hard difficulty?
Yep.
So he could be in the
He could
running
jump
for the
on
world
Destroy.
record too, maybe.
Yeah.
Yep.
Potentially, because apparently this guy who's going for it, he uses like the cheat to get the other, like the not cheat car, but like
It's
there's
a
a
rickshaw.
Yeah,
the
careful,
rickshaw.
mate.
Yeah.
Don't say
Yeah.
cheap.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Yeah. Good call. So Gary
His name's
doesn't
not
use
Billy.
the rickshaw. So if Gary used the rickshaw, I think he would have like his score would increase again. So like if it's on easy and then he uses the
Yeah.
rickshaw, he would have quite a good chance of going for it himself.
Yeah, right.
Do it. Shout out to you, Gary Eldershaw, mate. Do it. Make Netherworld proud. But also, was it Zigster?
Sixter.
Yeah.
I don't know him, but I'm sure he's a good bloke. So shout out to you too, mate.
I've got him on Instagram. But I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Just a question in regards to Gallagher, Mike. You said you're going for a PB of 1.5, or you're aiming for 1.5. How far away are you from achieving that, do you think?
Given that I only play when I go to Netherworld, so I'll have 1 or 2 credits when I'm there, which is maybe once a week or twice a week if I'm lucky. It's pretty slow going. I'm not practicing at home. I'm not using main. I just prefer to play it on the arcade machine. So I'm currently at 1.3 mil is my best, and I've had a couple of over 1 million points games in the last 2 or 3 months. So I can steadily get up there. It's just keeping that momentum going and keeping the concentration going. And I've got to learn how to I haven't started taking breaks playing yet. So I want to try and get a break in every 15 minutes, have it running on 2-player, and have the first player set aside with a BUA on the side, so you can just set it and have a break, have a pee, grab a beer.
Yeah.
Right. Is that
So, yeah,
legal
okay.
if you're going for a record? Is that part of...
I'm not sure.
Yeah. So
I think it is.
yeah, you can only park it for 10 minutes, I believe, but you can have a break.
Wow, that makes it so much more manageable, hey, to do like a marathon or a long game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, just knowing the track. So that information about parking your ship wasn't available when Phil Day broke the world record back in 2009. So, but yeah, since then they've worked out this to park the ship. So like you just have to put it in a certain area and just have one particular enemy on the screen. And they can just leave the game. So yeah,
that's it. Yeah. If you leave 1B, which is on the furthest far right or furthest far left, and if the B's on the right, you can park your ship on the left, and its missiles will never hit you. So you can just sit there on the left and just spin around. The B will come down and miss you, and that's your break. Yeah.
Oh,
In your face, B.
Nice one.
Yeah. How about yourself, Neil? What have you been up to these days?
yeah. So I've had a couple of new boards and new PBs lately. So I've recently picked up a Ladybug board, which is a board I've been chasing for a little while now. So got that off my mate Johnny Bond. So looking forward to checking that out. And I also got 2 1942 PCBs. One of them's faulty, and the other one boots, but it's still faulty as well. So yeah, one's completely not booting, and the other one's faulty. But looking forward to looking at those a bit more closely. Seeing
Is the idea to sort of swap components and get one working board, or
well, I've got to unfortunately, my knowledge of boards it isn't good in regards to repair. So I would love to get both of them up and running, but it's good that I've been able to pick up 2 genuine boards of the same game, because like you said, hopefully at least I can get one out of it. So pretty stoked with that, because Ladybug and 1942 are games that I really, really love. So stoked about that. In regards to playing, I broke my Donkey Kong PB recently. Only by a little bit, but I've got 600k on that. So
awesome!
Finally made 600,
buddy.
600 club. So stoked about that. Even though it was only a little bit over my PB, but I was stuck at like 590 for like over 12 months now. So I've been purposely not smashing Donkey Kong, because I just get over it and I'll just leave it. So I've decided, like, before I play Circus Charlie, I'll just put in 1 credit and see how it goes. So that could be like a 80k game, or it could be a 500 game. But doing it that way, I've been able to like sustain some really good progress there. So I've been getting consistent 500k games off the 1 credit. Really stoked about that. So
it's awesome.
Yeah, fingers crossed it can actually turn into a kill screen, because I'll probably never play the game after that.
That's what they all say.
Yeah, true. Yeah, it's like a drug, isn't it? It's just
I think for you though, I think you will though, like, because you've proven with other games that you finish it and you move on, walk away. I don't think you're going to go for mill or whatever, unless you want to, man. But
no, I'd be comfortable with a kill screen and then just practicing before Kong off when that comes around each year. So I've got no kind of interest in spending my nights just slogging a game trying to creep my score up. I'm not too interested in that. So
fair. Techio.
So besides that, I've been really focusing on Circus Charlie, and I've had a good opportunity this week to really knuckle down. So I've taken my score. I've had like a lot of PBs with that lately. So I've taken my scores from 650 to got a new PB the other night on the Game of the System Discord, and I've got 900k. So
that's awesome.
Max out is like 999,990.
So close now.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was really good.
I was there for that, to watch it live. It was awesome, man. I was like, oh shit, he's gonna do it. I'm gonna witness it.
It was really cool to stream on just the Game System Discord, and like it was a busy night. There was about the noise felt like 10 people.
There's about 8 of us, I think, that were online.
Yeah. So I think I said at some point where I'm like, this could be it or something. Yeah. And a couple of people must have tuned into my channel.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of background, like there was a lot of talking to chat. It was like, because there was so many people, like it was just fucking conversations flying left, right, and center.
It was mainly from one person.
Yeah, so I mainly heard Blair talk about how he was going to shut up now, like about 15 times.
And he almost did, but then he did. And he almost did, but then he did.
Just having, I particularly remember Dennis and Sean and Blair, were encouraging me to keep on going, and it definitely amped me up for it, and I loved every moment of it. But I've been thinking about it a lot today, because it was really close to a max out. So to get that close and not actually drink from the well, there's a bit it's a bit of bitter taste today, but it's definitely got me spurred on to play some more.
Next Friday, smash.
For sure.
That brings up an interesting question. What do you do? What in your previous big accomplishments in gaming? What do you do directly after to celebrate? Do you have a beer? Do you like run around,
watch some,
you know,
watch some
chanting
kung
books
fu,
or
maybe.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Head around,
Yeah.
head around to Sean's place.
Head around to Sean's, yeah.
Oh, is that a mum joke?
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah.
Mrs.
Gotta
Rule does
celebrate,
not
buddy.
want to celebrate with you, mate. She told me. Sick
Yeah,
of
that's
it.
what she told you.
I've got to watch it, man, because like last time so Ghosts and Goblins took me a long time to get, and I always celebrate, and it's always relieving at the time. So like I usually just have a beer. I was at Netherworld, which is awesome because like I had all my mates around
yeah,
and stuff,
right.
and it was a really good vibe there. But it's funny. It doesn't take long before you get a bit of like an emptiness once you finish the goal that you've been working on for so long. You know, all of a sudden,
Way to bring
that
us
can be
down,
like
mate.
a pretty. Sorry.
Way to bring us down.
Oh, sorry.
How do you celebrate? I get nice and empty.
Like
I get really depressed.
Sorry, mate.
Yeah, nice. Sorry.
I know what you mean.
But
no, I know what you mean.
When you're working on something for so long and you finish it, it's kind of like a what's next?
Yeah, I've done that. What do I do now? Sort of thing.
Yeah. So
Because you
chase,
filled so
man.
much of your you filled so much of your life or mind space with this goal, and then you get there, and then it's like, okay, now
Exactly.
what? What happens now?
What's the next mountain?
And it didn't
to
change
conquer?
the world. It didn't, make this huge, big difference in your life or anything like that. It's just time goes on.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It
I've been
can be like that.
Yeah. So like didn't mean to get everyone gloomy, but it's a bit of like
empathizing.
So
Neil goes to the bathtub and cries.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
how he celebrates.
Back and forth.
Yeah, I did it. I did it.
Now I have to play Rally X. No, but short answer, a beer is how I celebrate.
Very Aussie. I love it. Yeah. I think I've only done one big accomplishment, which is the kill screen, and I had a dinner to go to right after, and I did have a beer. So yeah, that would be.
So you go to dinner every time you do something huge.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, true. 100% rate of going to dinner
Mm-hmm.
when I do something
Nice seafood
good.
dinner.
Yeah, I guess when I get if I do the Tetris max out, maybe I don't know, do some
Go
math
dinner.
or something. Just go wild.
Hit up Amsterdam if you can.
Yeah. I'll just run around
And drink
chanting
coffee,
max
of
out.
course. Yeah, nothing intense.
Yeah,
just,
no, they're known for
they've got great cafes.
Yeah, the good herbal coffees, they're quite good. Yeah.
But yeah, that's been me. So yeah.
Denny DeVito, mate. What's going on in your neck of the woods, champion?
Old,
Denny
I am
DeVito.
old. I'm 39. I am old.
Sorry.
What have I been doing? There was a bit of studying for like just end of semester was around, and I'm still sort of studying for my degree. So got all my assessments out the way, which is fucking great. So I can like just chill and so it's good. That's kind of the main thing that I've been focusing on. Apart from that, what else? There's been just a couple of cab restores, new pickup recently. So yesterday I picked up a what's the scramble cab, which was again our good friend Johnny was about to put the cab on Marketplace and contacted me just before he put it on. Actually, he contacted me as he put it on. He said he got flooded with offers, but then he's like, oh man, I should have asked Dennis if he wanted it. And then, got, oh my God, I can't believe this. So I spoke to Johnny and he took it off Marketplace, which I'm sure upset like the bunch of people that were already trying to like pick the cab up. So I went around and got that next day. And terrible weather for it, by the way. I beat this huge storm. Like, yesterday we had that torrential downpour. So
would have been a bit of a scramble.
Was it? It actually really was. So beat the rain by like 30 seconds because old cabs and rain, probably not the best sort of combination. So in and dry and safe and sound, just in the process of doing that. And I got sort of sidetracked with that tonight before we started this podcast, and that's why we were late to it. So hey, me. The Helifire project is still going on. So I would take you around the corner with the camera to see it if it reached further enough, but it doesn't. So
maybe we can at this point put a couple of photos of progress or something.
Do a montage.
I could do like a PowerPoint style slideshow for everybody.
Oh, there you go.
Nice. With clip art and all sorts of stuff.
A QUT presentation.
Sponsored by
they're really good to me. They're good to me. Scores I've been chasing. Final Fight. I nearly 1CC'd that. So I started playing that again as the game of the month last month for Game of System Discord. Did pretty well, and I got a PB of 2.5
Did very
mil.
well.
So I was pretty happy. So about sort of 9/10 of the way there. It's just like the last part of the game is really fucking hard. So we'll see how we go. No
that
promises,
game is brutal.
It's
once you've seen that thing, is just I would never even bother trying because I don't think that game was ever developed for 1cc. It's ridiculous.
No, not at all. It's crazy.
It's
it's something that I'd been working on and off since probably 2019 when it was the One Up Arcade boss fight machine. So for those of us listening to the podcast who don't know what that is, One Up Arcade here for us in Queensland used to run this contest called Boss Fight, where the owner of the arcade would set a score on a machine, and it'd run like a bounty sort of system where it would jackpot weekly until with a cash prize until somebody beat the high score that was set on the cabin. So I think Final Fight sat there for about 9 months, I reckon. It was almost a year. Nobody could beat the score because it's Steve Holmes, owner of One Up, that sets the score, and Steve's crazy at those kinds of games, and
he's crazy at every game.
I know, yeah. One-handed out zone, for instance, just nuts. So it took me a while to get there, and that's sort of what got me on the path to playing Final Fight a bit more. So I'm almost there now, and so it was just playing the game sort of off and on for a couple of years, and now it's kind of nice to be so close to it. So hopefully that happens soon. Then back to Donkey Kong after that.
Woohoo!
Cool.
Don't hurry back to it too fast, mate.
I won't.
What was the score that Steve set on Final Fight at that time? If you did say it already,
I think it was 1.2 mil or something like that.
It's easy for you now.
For the boss fight, it was really hard at that point. I felt like I'd just climbed Everest when I got that score that time. I think I did that during Battle of the Arcades as well that year in
that was one of the games.
Yeah.
Wow. And then you get money and a trophy, right? So
so I got the bounty that
so
day.
Cool, man. How much was the bounty, if you don't mind?
It jackpotted to $500. I think it goes to that,
shit,
and that's it.
Yeah. That's awesome, man.
It's pretty awesome. Yeah, I gave most of it back to the arcade though. So I just
you have to pay tax on that, right?
Yeah. Undeclared.
Actually, maybe you do. No, I think prize.
Yeah,
I think I remember prize winnings are tax exempt. I think.
I'm sure that the arcade handled that. It's fine.
All above board.
Yeah. Apart from that, I don't know. Just apart from pottering around, repairing cabs, and working on high scores, that's pretty much it.
Nice. Any more Super Mario Maker levels from Henry?
There always is, man. Yep.
That's so cool, man. You've created this human, this thing that delivers Mario games to you to play.
It's pretty amazing, yeah. So if you guys, my son sort of had pretty much commandeered the Switch. We bought it for me, and it ended up in the hands of Henry Boy, and now he's just sort of gone to his own with Mario Maker. So he makes levels, and usually when I'm trying to study, I come in and I feel a tap on my shoulder, and I see this Switch come up next to me. Dad, I made you a level to play. Like, cool, mate. So we'd sit down and play that level, and I'd go and I'd beat it within a couple of goes, and he'd get really cranky that I beat his level. So he'd go back and make it harder, and come back in an hour and just make all this crazy shit in it, and then I'd find a way through it, and it just sort of goes from there. So he's been continually making me more challenging levels. So we'll see how we go.
Wow, Henry
Eventually
Miyamoto.
make what I can't do. Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't know if he saves the levels. Like, I don't know if Mario Maker you have to actually, like, there's something you have to do to save them online, but I'd love to be able to share them so other people can play them, because some ones he makes are pretty creative, man. They're really good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's me.
Oh, nice one.
So where do we go from here?
Yeah, Neil.
So
Big Dog, what's up on the? You had
Neil's like the leader.
yeah, so
fearless.
I'll just shoot it to you straight away, Mark. I suppose in regards to Beercade, because I think it's too big of a opportunity to talk about that.
Tell us about this special thing.
Yeah.
Sure. So, and I can probably throw over to John here and there as well, because John's helping out.
100%.
So a friend of mine, Roger, he's been an operator in New South Wales for God knows how long now, maybe 15, 20 years, operating pinball machines, operating arcade machines, pool tables, all that kind of stuff in all over Sydney and New South Wales. He's been doing it for a very long time. He was doing annual pinball tournaments for well over 10 years. So, you know, he's been around for a long time, basically. And his real job, besides operating games, was always, and I always get this wrong and he picks me up on it, but from what I understand, he's basically an events manager in bars and pubs, and as well as running the bar and all that kind of stuff. So various Sydney bars and pubs he would be working in, organising events, etc. He used to be the licensee in the Newtown Hotel in Newtown, and he had heaps of pinball machines there as well. That's where Z-Ball kicked off, which is his business, his operating business. So yeah, he's been doing that for a long time, and his dream was to no longer have to do work as in bar management, and have the operating thing as a side thing, but actually run his own bar arcade, basically. So in the last couple of years, I've been in conversation with him, and he's been getting really close, and now he's managed to find a location. He's set it mostly all the way up at the moment, so it's almost there. And he's named it Beercade, so the name of it is Beercade. He's got that trademark internationally as well, so he's spent the big dollars to get that locked down. So yeah, he's
Awesome.
he's built it up. He's almost got it there to the point where it's opening to the public. It's in Redfern in Sydney. Absolute amazing location. It's on the corner of sort of a main public thoroughfare. There's a lot of people that walk past all the time and are just staring in the windows and saying, you know, when are you opening? When are you opening? When are you opening?
That's so
So
cool.
an amazing location across the road from the train station as well. So you can literally get off at Redfern train station, walk less than a minute just through a little mall sort of thing. And there you are at Beercade. It's got, I can't remember exactly the amount, but it's about 25, 30 pinball machines. It's probably got about, John, maybe you've got a better idea, probably 15 arcade machines, something like that.
Yeah, yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's definitely over 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's
what arcade machines are in there at the moment?
So as part of that, just before I talk about which games, he sort of talked to me to handle the arcade side of things. He wanted to do the pinball stuff, but of course he's got a couple of his own games in there. He's got like Daytona, Time Crisis 2, you know, those really big ones. But he didn't want to do the management of you know, your normal arcade machines, your stand-up machines or cocktail or whatever. So he talked to me to manage that side of things. But I also, you know, full disclosure, I sort of had a little small investment into the business as well. So I've got a little bit of a stake in it, but it's a very small stake. So, you know, it's all Roger's work. And so I've put in, I think it's, how many arcade machines have I got in there at the moment? I think it's 8. So I've got a new Astro City, which at the moment has Rainbow Islands. Rainbow Islands you'll never see anywhere. It's super rare. I've got a normal Astro City, which has Raiden 2. I've got a Naomi Universal, which will have Monkey Ball, the arcade version. But
I went to play that.
Yeah, that's super rare as well. And it's got the big banana joystick that you can wrap a kebab around. And,
Get your kebabs.
Get your kebabs out.
It was funny actually because I just bought that cab and got it all set up and running a day before we were doing our private sort of soft opening event. The chassis died, the monitor chassis. So there was nothing I could do other than just pull the chassis out and send it off to WA to Joe Mac to get that repaired, and that had to be down for the night. Sadly, because I still haven't even played that game. I still haven't played Monkey Ball on arcade. So close, but no cigar. I've got a Dynamo in there. So that's your classic sort of Street Fighter 2 USA style cabinet. But I've stripped that back and themed that up as a Ghouls and Ghosts. So it looks like a dedicated Ghouls and Ghosts.
Cool.
But I've actually chucked Final Fight in there. And the reason why I've done that is because Ghouls and Ghosts, obviously I love it, but it's a brutally hard game. So I don't think anyone would really chuck much money into it. So I've chucked Final Fight into that Ghouls and Ghosts cab. I've got a dedicated Mortal Kombat 2, a USA Mortal Kombat 2. Sadly, that game had been working for years and years, non-stop, my absolute 100% reliable machine. 2 weeks before I moved it into Beercade, it died. And I still haven't figured out what's wrong with it. It's just dead. There's no power going to it, and I can't understand what's going on. All the fuses are working. Yeah, it's just bizarre. Dedicated Mortal Kombat 1. That's a Australian LAI Mortal Kombat 1. And strangely, I've got Street Fighter 2 in there because I feel like if Mortal Kombat 2 was working, that's a Mortal Kombat game. You don't need 2 Mortal Kombat games. So I threw Street Fighter 2 into the Mortal Kombat 1.
You got to have a Street Fighter 2.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. I mean, the moment I popped that board in there and got that cab up and running, and you hear those elephants doing their thing in the Dalsim stage, you're like, now it sounds like an arcade.
Yeah.
I mean, the elephants are really annoying.
Yeah, I bet that would be.
It
How does
sounds
that-
like an arcade now.
Yeah. How does that work out button wise? Is it a 6-button CAD? Because
Yeah, but I've modified it the control panel, so it's 6
Okay.
buttons each controller
Yeah, right.
rather than 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I've also got a outrun in there as well, a stand-up outrun. And again, another game you'll never see anywhere, super rare, hard to get hold of, and also a very hard board to keep running. I've sent that fucking thing off to the UK to get repaired 3 times now, and each time it costs about $1,000 to do it.
Oh God.
Jesus.
Yeah. And probably a couple of months before it got moved into Beercade, the graphics started screwing up. And a couple of days before our soft opening for Beercade, I thought I fixed the problem. We wiggled the connector on the board and you could see the graphics go in and out. So what I was wiggling on the board was actually causing the screen to do the graphic issues. So we thought, great, we know what the problem is. It's the connector. So we repinned the connector, we popped it on, it was working perfect. And then the next day it went back to the graphics being fucked again. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, that game's there and I'm sure we'll get it up and running pretty soon.
Far out.
John, you've got a couple in there.
Yeah, I've got I've got 3 video arcades and 1 pinball, which I wasn't expecting to put any pinball in there. I only own 1 pinball machine, and it's the Shadow. And we just happened to be talking one night with Baker Snark, Mark Williams, and I think I mentioned it, and he's like, "Oh, are you going to take that to BK?" And I'm like, "No." Roger owns so many pinball machines. I just assumed, like, why would he need it? And he's like, "Oh, he doesn't own a Shadow. He might use it." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I talked to Roger, and Roger's like, "I'm not sure what I want to do yet. Maybe." And then I left it for a couple of weeks, and I was like, "So what do you think?" And he's like, yeah, I don't know. And I'm like, and then I left it for a bit longer, and then it was getting close to the day we were moving all the machines in, and I was like, look,
you want this or not?
It'd be helpful for me because I've only got three machines in there, and I mean, I'm not wanting to make money, but I'm hopefully not going to lose money out of the situation. So, the more machines, the better for me. So I was like, what if I bring it? You can have a look at it. And if you don't want it, I'll just take it home, which wasn't that much of a big deal to do because we got the truck and it's just one machine out of like 20 machines that we're moving the day. So, took it over there and it stayed there, and so it's there now with all the pinball machines. I had to fix a few things on it, and it was. I mean, it's a pinball machine, so they're so much more complex than video arcades in terms of mechanical.
Yeah.
Oh man, so much more that can go wrong. Far out.
Yeah. So, and of course, you think you've got it perfect, and then you play it a bit, and something else screws up on it, and that happened probably about 3 times as I was trying to get it prepared to be operated. So, but I think it's in pretty good shape now and working well. So that's there, the Shadow, which is an awesome game. I've only ever owned 1 pin at a time, but I've sold it and bought different games, I think about 4 times. And out of all the games that I've had, I think it's the one that I think I would hold on to. I can't imagine really ever getting rid of it. I mean, not everyone has the same opinion, but I just find it really fun to play. I think the rules are relatively simple, but it's challenging. It's that classic thing of like easy to learn, but difficult to master.
It's a great game.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's probably the best type of penny to have in a bar, right? Because you get a lot of just normals, not people who are obsessed with it like
the normies.
us. The normies, the guys that don't chant about books. Playing, so if it's easy to play and you get like a decent a couple of minutes out of your credit, then you're more likely to put another credit in and keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, it's definitely not like, I mean, a lot of Sterns now, they're just trying to kill you instantly. And I think that's something that they learned like later on, that they just wanted to try and kill you as instantly as possible, take your money, move on. So I think it's a bit nicer like that. Yeah. So that, and for the video arcades, I've got an NBA Jam 4-player. It's not tournament edition, unfortunately, but it's still fun.
Gotta have it.
Sweet. Hell yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
From downtown.
The amount of people that stare through the windows, because again, it's still closed to the public at the moment. So they stare through the windows and they
Everyone's
keep
just
looking at NBA Jam. And there's actually one guy who's come along and he said, I'm going to set the world record on that as soon as you guys open. And I don't even know if you can
what
set
world
the
record
on that. But,
how do you set a world record?
Do you speed run it or something?
I think it goes by how many
because
wins.
the games are timed and everything.
I think it goes by how many wins. So you can have like how many wins you could get like a winning streak. But I'm not sure. Like I haven't looked into it or anything.
I think he's just a normie that doesn't really understand. He just wants to, he's going to be the best in the world.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Good on him. Maybe he's a beast.
It's really cool that you've got, even though I'm guessing like yourself and Roger probably haven't advertised or anything yet about the opening of it, that it's still great that like based on the location that you've got people there like fogging up the windows ready to come in. Like that's pretty amazing. So it's very positive for a start.
Yeah, it's crazy. Every time I'm there, there's just so many people going past and just wanting to come in. A couple of crazy people as well, but you get that. It's Sydney.
That's right. If they're still dropping money in the pinballs and the arcades and buying drinks, then okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let all the Rabbitohs supporters in. Doesn't matter.
But John also you have Metal Slug 3 in your new Astro.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Actually, before we go on, I was just looking up on Twin Galaxies NBA Jam, and this is a Super Nintendo edition, so I don't know if there's a track on arcade for the same thing, but they're calling it Biggest Blowout. The rules are basically how many points you win the game by. So
right, okay.
So if you win 20-2, your score is 18.
18, yeah.
And so the top, okay, so there's a Game Boy track for Tournament Edition, and the top is 107 points.
Holy crap.
Yeah, that's a lot. But on the Super Nintendo, it's 33.
That's
a lot different.
That's a tough game because it's got a lot of rubber banding, I believe, for the AI.
Yeah, actually, there's a setting I noticed in the settings, which I think you can turn that off.
Good.
For like tournaments and stuff. Although if it's a player tournament, it wouldn't. Oh no, it does still matter because it changes the stats. I mean, the main thing is you just want to get on fire, basically. And try and hold that.
Yeah,
it's like real life.
I know. I don't know if it's a port or if it's the arcade version. But there's like an unmissable 3. Like if you shoot a 3 from a certain spot,
just hit it every time.
You hit it every time. I think it's the very top right-hand corner.
If
you're going to right of screen. But that might be on one of the ports and not the arcade. But it'll be cool to look into.
Sweet.
I heard that the programmers they made the team that they supported because I think they're American. They like buffed them like crazy. They were OP in the game.
It was. I think it was
Detroit, maybe.
Yeah, the Pistons, because they had a rivalry with Chicago.
With the Bulls,
I can't remember what it was. One of those docos on I don't know where I saw it, but I'm guessing you watched the same thing where they talked to the programmers, and because they were supporters and they had this rivalry. It was something like when the Pistons played against Chicago in the fourth quarter, they would get a massive boost to their stats or something like that. There's some like very specific set of circumstances.
Super cool.
Awesome.
Yep.
Also, if you put the creators' initials in, I think it lets you play as them. They look like the people who programmed it as well, which is really cool. Yeah.
Cool.
So sorry, back to your cabs there, John. The Metal Slug 3, is that just on a one slot, or is it on a Neo Geo 4 slot, or?
Yeah, no, just a one slot in the new Astro City. Yeah, but I think pretty. I mean, it'd be cool if we had a 4 slot, but they're actually pretty expensive.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And I've never seen one in an Astro City before. That'd be interesting. There's no reason we couldn't do it. We'd have to put a button somewhere for the game switch, but
But it sounds like everything's original, and
it's amazing.
No MAME, no. What about LCDs and CRTs? You know, the big.
Well, there is. There's still a couple of Pandora multicabs floating about in Beercade, but most of them are sold. Roger's been selling them off. Basically, he threw those in to fill gaps whilst we're, getting everything set up and the machines coming in. Yeah, because our goal is to have all OG cabs.
That's super cool.
But yeah, there's Pandoras in there, but all of them have been sold except for one. I kind of don't mind the idea of just having one there, as long as we have a space that is free for the moment. Because when someone comes in and they want that one game, at least they can dial it up and play it, even if it will be shit on the LCD. But
for sure, and for
the normies won't know.
Yeah, Battle of the Arcades and stuff like that.
Yeah. I think it's really cool that
another entrant into the Battle of the Arcades.
Oh yeah, they're definitely doing that.
Maybe you'll finally be a worthy opponent,
Oh, come on.
God, I sound like a dick, don't I?
Nah. I mean,
it was super close last time between Netherworld and Spaceys, right? It's pretty close.
Yeah, Spaceys where it came second. They got a good team happening there. So
I mean, I wasn't there, so
they had a few training days and things up to Womba Way. So they did really well. So it was great to. There was a couple of new players that came out, like that Leo was there, and Johnny Bond went up for him. So
Leo driver.
It was awesome.
Epic.
I blame our dismal 89 performance on me being brutally hungover the second day.
Right.
I couldn't play.
Oh wow!
I think we figured out that was food poisoning, did we not?
Yeah,
it probably was.
Pretty sure that you taking like a kebab out of the fridge that you bought last night and then ate the next morning would
that was probably a bad idea.
Have that effect. Yeah,
it sounds delicious.
It's delicious.
When you're hungover,
felt that way at the time.
Lessons were learned.
Yeah.
Sorry, just before we get off topic too much, I just want to say that I really think that's awesome that Beercade's got its own library of games. Like there's a lot of those titles that you just mentioned that you wouldn't see anywhere else within all the bars that are opening up in barcades opening up in Perth and Empire Arcade and in Brisbane. That a lot of those titles, like you said, are very rare. So it's awesome that you've got your own style. Matt, you've been there a couple of times. Obviously, you went to the private functioning. How did you find the vibe there? Like, can you kind of explain what it's like? Like what kind of vibe you get from it?
This is where he's going to say it's shit. Don't go to Beercade, it's fucked.
I mean, things are unfinished, so it's hard to put the vibe in there yet. We don't have one, right? But the top levels, in the door, where you come in, it's all the arcade machines. It's like the top level, and then you go downstairs where all the pennies are. I don't know, let's say
That's fine.
End review.
Yeah.
End review. Yeah.
I take it, like, how many pinballs do they have there?
It's about, I think it's between 25 and 30. It's around there.
Decent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Shit, yeah.
Wow, that's
It's a
awesome.
pretty cool space. That it's like a split level. It's yeah, they're not, the levels aren't on top of each other, but the pinball area is like a sunken room.
Yeah,
almost. Yeah,
That's cool.
From the
It looks very
photos I
spacious.
saw, yeah.
I don't know, but does it feel pretty spacious in person? Because the videos and photos I saw, it seemed like, I guess I always compare it to Netherworld because that's what I'm most familiar with, and it seemed a lot less like a little maze and a little, crowded. Seemed
Yeah,
a lot more
there is
open.
more space, but it's interesting because Roger's idea, which I think is it's a different take on it. Roger's idea is not to have a lot of tables and things like that. So he doesn't want a lot of people sitting around and just, chatting and stuff like that. And that's been the general sort of barcadey feel. He's had a lot of feedback in his operating career where people are trying to play pinball and there's people just milling about or leaning on the machines or sitting at tables nearby complaining about the noise. And so he's very much, I know, those bastards.
Fuck off.
So he's very much trying to create this place where it's for players rather than for people to sit down and just have a conversation. Now, I don't know how long that sort of idea will go for until he decides to chuck in more tables.
Yeah.
But we'll see. It's just an interesting idea, I think, because it's based on feedback. Yeah.
It is interesting, and like, I was talking to Martin, who's a regular at 89 and a friend of ours. He has the Metal Slug 2 world record, and he was kind of like, "Oh man, yeah, I think you guys need to get more tables. Just after a while, you just need to sit down, and that's that's not exactly what he said. I'm kind of paraphrasing, but I kind of get that. But interestingly, I think with a lot of the guys that play pinball, they're so used to just standing up the whole time because you pretty much just stand up to play pinball, and that I think they are less likely to want that sort of thing. I think they're used to, I might be making a bit of an assumption, but I think those guys are used to just standing up for hours on end at events and stuff like that. From their perspective, I can't imagine them asking for tables.
Yeah, whatever you do, there's going to be, you can't make everyone 100% happy. There's going to be some sort of split.
Yeah,
that's with I guess any business,
But again, going back on the space thing, there's heaps of space. So if he decides to actually get more tables and chairs and stuff like that, there's plenty of space for it.
Cool.
Yeah, cool.
So with your machines going to the new venue, John, what's that mean for Rumble in the West? Though, is that something that you still have a dream of, or?
Basically, it's not really happening now. Pretty much, so these machines I bought from that business entity. Unfortunately, COVID really just screwed us over. And not only that, like we have with Alan, who I was doing it with, and who was really paying for the whole thing, or investing. He's got his main business, which is in medical consumable supplies, mainly labels, and that business has gone nuts over the last 2 years that we've been going through this pandemic. And it's kind of weird because there's no real direct connection, I don't think, because the labels we supply are just general general theatre labels and, you know, for medical use, nothing specifically related to COVID, but it definitely has increased, and I can't really explain it, but yeah, on top of that, you know, there's a lot of pressure on everyone, I think, in general with lockdown and at work. And so that business just went into crisis mode with huge amounts of growth, and also needing to support staff who are going through a really rough time, having to come into work every day. And just meant that any sort of extracurricular activities were totally off the
out the window.
yeah. So the machines just sat there for ages, and I kept thinking, like, oh, how can we make money with these machines? And of course, you know, you're always thinking, oh, I guess we could put them in the takeaway shop next door or whatever and see. And so I always had that idea in the back of my mind. And meanwhile, of course, like all the stuff with Roger and Beercade was happening in the background. And I think one day Mark just said to me, oh, I can't remember, Mark, exactly how it happened, but I think you said, do you want to put your machines in there or something like that? Do you remember?
Yeah, well, we were looking for more games basically, because I only had so many, and I knew you had some. So as a way to fill the gaps, I reached out to you and said, do you have a couple of machines you want to cite? So
yeah,
that's where it started. Yeah,
and basically, you know, I think it's really, really my passion, not so much Alan's passion. You know, the business owned the machines, you know, and it's really his money and his machine. So I bought those machines off him. So because, yeah, it just didn't make sense, because he didn't have the skill to repair them or operate them, and I did. So we could have done it as, you know, the Rumble in the West entity and made money for that business, but I was going to be doing it. So I'm like, if I can just get the cash to buy these, then I can do it, and it can just be me. And so that's what happened. And
so
there's still
for people
that
that don't know, what is the Rumble in the West?
Yeah, so we had the idea to try and do the same sort of thing, you know, open an arcade bar. I think it all actually came out of originally when I went to BPAC, and this now is like 3 years ago, and met a lot of you guys for the first time, and just came back, you know, like you do. You go back into the office. Oh, what did you do? Oh, I went to this thing, and I like told them about it, and I think Alan just thought about it, and he's got that sort of entrepreneurial type perspective, and he's like, thinking about it. And I think he also tries to engage like his staff in things that they're interested in. And so he was like, do you think we could do something like that? And I'm like, oh man, like that's, you know, I think it's a lot harder than maybe what it seems.
BPAC is huge.
And then I started to think, we could do like a pop-up kind of thing as a bit of an experiment. So that's where the idea for Rumble in the West started. We were going to do a pop-up event. So we planned all that, then COVID happened, and that fucking fucked that up, and we lost a lot of money. But then we kept with the idea of maybe a more permanent thing. So we were thinking of that. We had a lot of machines, and we even did like you know, private experimental events and stuff, and they went really well. But then, you know, COVID just did not go away. And then we had like round 2 lockdowns, and it was just too much. We just couldn't continue from there. And we definitely can't now. So yeah, unfortunately, it's all sort of out the window now. But luckily, from my perspective, you know, I still get to do the things that I want to do, which is just work on machines and share them with people. Like for me, it's really about sharing the games, you know, like NBA Jam, for example. It's a fun game, but it's not one I would have at my house, because you're not going to sit down on your own and play NBA Jam. But I have it because I want to share it. I want to share the fun of playing games over a beer with other people.
Especially
So
like people that connect with it from when they were younger, they see that and their eyes light up. It's like, holy shit!
Yeah,
I have to play my mate in this or whatever. That's so cool.
Yeah. Playing 4-player matches of NBA Jam is heaps of fun. Really is.
I come at the same sort of perspective with citing things like Rainbow Islands and Outrun. Some people have said to me, "You're absolutely crazy putting these rare games out into the public where they're just going to brutalize them." But I get so much pleasure just seeing people enjoy playing them. I'm just going to have them at my home, and I'll play them every now and again, and that's cool. But I just really enjoy seeing other people being able to enjoy them and enjoying these things that you just never see around. So I don't care if people. Well, I do care if they kick them around and stuff, obviously. But I just want to see people have fun. I think that's what I'm really in it for. So that's
awesome.
I wouldn't have even thought twice about putting Outrun on side or any of those other games.
Well, it seems like everyone's got the right idea. I think it's going to be a success. Location, passion, good games. Doesn't seem to me like it's going to, beers. Doesn't seem to me like it's going to be too hard to be successful. But I don't know much about business, but sounds great.
And I was just about to say that as well. I mean, Roger has that background. Roger knows all of that stuff. He's cited games. He's run his business for over 20 years. He's managed bars. So it's just a perfect mix of everything that we need. It's going to be a success, no doubt about it. And it will open to the public December 2nd. So
cool. Got a date.
Chuck it in your diaries.
I think I can fly into New South Wales now too without quarantining.
Oh, there you go. We're still very anxious and fretting over getting everything up and running before December 2nd. It's only 2 weeks away.
Oh, jeez,
All my machines are working.
It's going to be awesome.
What are you wasting your time doing a podcast for, mate? See ya.
One of the fun things has been the coin mix. That's a whole world of
bullshit. Coin mix
fuckery. I worked at Netherworld for like a month, and that even in that month it was like so many issues with coin mix.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Were they getting like jammed and stuff, or
jammed and not registering? Usually it's a very easy fix. You just open it up and you check what's going on. Okay. Some dickhead put a 5-cent coin in there or something like that. Usually a very quick fix. So that's the other side of the coin mech.
I see what you did there. But it's been a very very big learning curve. It's just I can't believe how much time you spend on the smallest of things. I always go in there with a list of things that I need to take care of. I need to tackle this thing first, this thing second, this thing third, and then just end up doing something else because you walk in and something else isn't working, so you start fiddling around with that, and then next minute 4 hours has gone past and you haven't even touched the things you were meant to touch. So it's been a big learning curve. The people who run these things, these barcades, the amount of time and effort that they must have put in is just ridiculous. I can't believe it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Is it going to be a pay? Sorry, mate. Go ahead. No, you're right.
I think you guys said that Didn't you guys say there's a tech at Netherworld like every morning or something fixing stuff?
Oh yeah, Dave drops in occasionally. I don't know if it's every day, but
I think he's basically
most
30 plus hours a week. I could be wrong, but I think he's basically a full-time tech.
Wow.
And then they've got Hugh as well, who owns a lot of the machines, and he also does repairs for him. So like, you've got 2 techs running Netherworld. But Netherworld's like
maintenance,
like the amount of foot traffic that goes through Netherworld is pretty insane compared to a lot of the other barcades. So like those games just get smashed. So
there's always 1 or 2 not working, and they have a sign on it. So, but it's usually that they're up and running again pretty quick. Yeah. That's just part and parcel, I guess, with a barcade. If everything's working all the time, there'd be something weird going on there.
Solar flares. It's funny. I can give an example. Like, there was one day where I planned to go in there and get a kick harness happening for the Street Fighter 2 / Mortal Kombat cab, and I thought it would take me maybe half an hour because I was basically building it from scratch, just a custom one, because I didn't have the original or a pre-made one. Conveniently, the pre-made ones I bought that I was going to install didn't arrive until the day after I built this custom one, but that's another story. So I went in there to build this kick harness, and I had the right connector thanks to John, because he pulled that off another cab. But I had to splice in the wires for the buttons, obviously, but then realizing I didn't have the spade connectors to go onto the buttons. So I cut off some spade connectors from another control panel. And again, I was going to splice those into the kick harness, but then realizing the wires weren't long enough. So I had to cut some extra wire and splice in the connector to the extra length of wire to the spade connector and do that. How many wires is there? There's 6. There is 6, isn't there?
Yeah, 6. Yeah, the 3 kick buttons each.
So and I'm not going to just twist the wire and wrap some electrical tape around it. I twist the wire, then I put some solder on there and make sure it's tinned really well, and then heat shrink on the wire as well to make sure it holds fast. That took 3 hours, I think. 3 hours just to do a fucking kick harness. It's just, and I got it done, but that was just one thing done off the list of about 5 that I needed to do that night. So it's just been an eye-opening experience, realizing how much work goes into this stuff. People who Steve at One Up, the amount of work he must do, it's crazy.
Oh man. Yeah, that's a massive collection. That's like 5 times the size of anything else that I've seen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and how he keeps all of those running, I have no idea.
Yeah, there's almost, I don't remember many machines not working either. Like, it's pretty crazy, eh? I don't know how he does it. He's a magician.
At least he doesn't have to deal with coin mechs. That's one thing.
Very true.
Yeah, maybe that's a big part of it.
It makes a lot of sense why he doesn't do it. With that many machines, it's just out of control.
Yeah. I was going to ask you guys too. Yeah, you're doing pay per play, or you're doing like a $15 all free play?
No, it's pay per play. So there's no entry fee or anything like that. It's just come in and pay to play the games.
Nice.
Tokens as well, so you can go up and buy tokens at the bar.
Right.
As well as coins.
Tokens. Will the tokens be out in December, like when you guys open?
Yep.
Right. I love a good token. I love it. I think everyone's got a collection somewhere.
Both of those caps are full of Netherworld tokens.
Yeah, right.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to steal those, Dennis. Jeez, mate. You just go there enough, I guess you get a collection, eh?
Yeah, you end up with like 2 or 3 in your pocket.
There you go. Matt's got a pack.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
That's my kind of bag of drugs right there. Fun
Do you know,
tokens.
are the ones he's printing now the same as the old ones? He's the Seawall.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
That's it.
Those are the old ones. Those are the
Where's that
$1
for?
coins. That's for Beercade. Well, actually,
yeah,
it's all
nice.
for all Z-Ball games across New South Wales.
Right.
But he's got new ones as well. They're $2 ones, and they're basically the size of a $2 coin. But they're really, really cool. If I could, maybe I have one lying around. But they're the coolest tokens I've ever seen because they're not just one color of metal. They're actually silver around the outside, and then on the inside it's gold.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah.
So it looks
That's
really,
cool.
really cool.
It's like a euro coin.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
awesome. The only
Or in German,
other
Eurball.
the only other one I've seen like that is Pixel Alley have like a red ring on the outside. With
Oh, yeah, they do.
stars.
Yeah.
Yeah. But,
Very
no,
cool.
that's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, I'll be keen to get my hands on some of those.
Same.
And hands on the banana.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah, with my kebab.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
I
gotta
can't wait
watch-
to see a video. I can't wait to see a video of this monkey ball machine because I've never ever heard of it until I heard the Game System podcast. I've never seen one anywhere ever on the internet or in real life.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
super rare. Even getting the control panel itself with that banana.
Yep.
You're going to spend a lot of money to get one of those.
Was it
Very
was
rare.
it released?
So
Was it released in the West at all, in like the States or Australia or Europe? Or
Not
it
widely.
was, yeah, but not widely.
okay.
You didn't see them around.
Well, it
So
wasn't in
yeah,
I don't remember seeing it in every time zone. It's pretty rare. Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
I've never seen it, and I still haven't played it. So one day,
oh man,
one day soon, hopefully.
Is it was it based off the popularity of the GameCube game? Is that where it came from, or was it?
No, it was originally an arcade game.
first. Oh shit!
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
All right.
jeez,
So the original was called
I
Monkey
didn't know
Ball.
either.
That was the first one, and then they came out with Super Monkey Ball on the GameCube.
Ah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I can't wait to play it. It's gonna be awesome.
So one of the other topics we wanted to breach was the ultimate denizen for Netherworld. So we're lucky to be with one of the ultimates, Sean Ruland.
Oh,
Yeah, so
What?
Sean won
Didn't know that.
number 2. I believe he won the second.
the friend on his lap.
Was it,
Yep.
was it the second?
He wants to go for
Johnny
a
Johnny
walk.
Bond was first.
Johnny Bond was first,
Yeah,
and then
Sean was second.
Sean was second. Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
buddy. The best
Yeah. So just
thing I've ever done with my life, apart from the best thing. Yeah.
Was there a Tony Hawk challenge in the one that
Married
you won?
wife.
Yeah.
Yeah,
every
Tony
year,
Hawk
every
was.
denizen.
It's been every year so far, but yeah, it was in. It was in there. There was some games in mine that kind of just luckily were suited to my strengths, and I had decent games on the pinball. Not enough.
Do
'cause I
you
like
want to
pinball,
just
but
do you want to just give us a bit of a run through of what it actually is, Sean?
Oh, yeah, sure. So the Ultimate Denizen is a yearly competition at Netherworld Arcade and Bar in Brunswick Valley in Brisbane, Queensland. Sorry. Yeah. So it's a yearly competition where I think originally it started off with like 4 pennies, 4 arcade and 4 console, something like that. And then now there's around the same, maybe a few more games and something random. Like one year it was VR on PS4, I think, with Beat Saber?
Yeah.
And what was last year?
Typing of the Dead on PC.
Typing of the Dead.
Oh,
on
wasn't
PC.
it that drumming game? Taiko no Tatsujin. Yeah. On Wii. drumming
right.
game. Yeah, rhythm action
Yeah,
drumming.
I think Typing of the Dead was in there as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was as well, yeah.
Right,
love
so a
that
couple
game.
of random things.
They're
so-
getting more creative now.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way you can really play everything that's in Netherworld, but you have no idea what's actually going to be in the event until the day.
Yeah.
So it's basically anyone's game. If you're an all-rounder, obviously, with like pennies, console, and arcade, then you have an advantage. But even
Barra,
then,
basically. Yeah.
yeah, even then, you've just got one chance on each game, so you can't just like grind away on a penny. Yeah, and if you win, the way it goes is you get a like awesome WWE wrestling style championship belt. I think they're still doing that. and a big hand-painted portrait on the walls of
That's
Netherworld
amazing.
for eternity.
That is
And
amazing.
such a cool thing, especially
Yeah,
like
a-
if you
a
love
portrait,
Netherworld.
a portrait like this big. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
massive. Yeah.
Like you would see in a castle, you know, of some fancy, because it's all very regal and monster based. That's kind of the theme that they go
Yeah.
for, regal with monster based
Mhm.
artwork. And you usually get like a bar tab. I think I got $50 or $30 or something bar tab as well. It's like
Me.
best. I think it's the best prize of the year.
Oh,
Depending on who you are, some people probably don't care that much about the portrait or wouldn't even want one. They might be a bit self-conscious or something, but man, I love it.
I think that's
cool.
amazing.
Yeah, so that's the Ultimate Denizen, and that's coming up soon, isn't it?
Yeah, next weekend.
Yeah, next
Oh,
weekend.
it's this weekend. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
So
Wow.
Next weekend.
Next weekend, sorry. Yeah, so
So the 20th
Yeah.
or 21st.
I've always wanted to go because I do consider myself as a bit of an all-rounder. I play pinball, I play console, I play arcade. And of course, just because Netherworld is fucking awesome, I obviously want to get there. So one day I'll get
up there,
to
mate.
Denizen.
Hey, Mark,
Yeah.
you'd be surprised. Well, like, so anyone that can do that has a really strong chance. There's not a lot of people who play pinball, console, and arcades. Like, like I'd never consider myself a real chance because my pinball's just like I don't touch pinball really.
Yeah.
So people like you would definitely be worth the trip for a portrait on a wall.
No, definitely.
Amazing.
I think only one
not really.
predominantly pinball player has won so far, year 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who was that?
But is Michael? Is his
Yeah,
name?
Mike.
No, what's his name? Mike.
I don't know his last name. Mike.
Not
He's
this
on the
Mike.
pinball. Not me.
Right.
Yeah,
Other Mike.
but he is a gamer as well, I think. But he's predominantly always on the pennies. Yeah, he had a
It
good
doesn't
year.
surprise me because I think video games have such like the skills are a lot more specific than for pinball. Pinball's so much more transferable, and you do need to know the games and the rules. But if you're a decent player, you can usually pick it up.
You just aim for the flashing lights, really, if you can keep the ball alive.
Exactly.
As long as you
can
got
get
some
a
ball
decent
skills.
score. Yeah.
Or watch someone that knows what they're doing and just do what they do.
Yeah, that's actually one of the tactics you can use at Ultimate Denizen. Don't play things you aren't confident at until you watch someone else who might know what they're doing. You know, there are certain things you can do, whether you think they're what's the word I'm looking for? Ethical.
Ethical.
Yeah. But I think it's, if you're not, I mean, you could also sit on your phone and look up strategies, whatever, you know, like there's nothing that's, you just can't have 2 credits.
In the end, it's you that's got to set the score. So there's nothing sort of, there's nothing illegitimate about it. It's all about you and what you've got to do. So
One chance, that's brutal.
The major pinball competitions that I've been in, and I've been in many, all of the players, you know, the best players in Australia and the world, before they step up to a machine, they're looking up at strategies on their phone. And, you know, there's websites dedicated to saying, for the best strategy on this game, you want to try and do this first, and then this second, this third. Everyone does that stuff. I mean, why not?
Yeah, I think one of the rules within Ultimate Denizen is that you're unable to. You're not supposed to look up kind of playthroughs and strategies. So I think that was something that Jimmy said at the start of last year. So I don't know if he's recently brought that in. But yeah.
You don't really have time to do it anyway, to be honest. Like, it's pretty full on when you're there. Like, you don't get much time to even go to the bar because you got to, like,
12, 14 games.
Yeah. You're playing, like, the whole time.
For sure. And I'll just mention, sorry, like, I think I've missed the point in like bringing up Ultimate Denizen is that it's such an awesome community event. because all of the people who love Netherworld are pretty much there. So like, it's you're there with all your mates drinking beer,
and it's a line up at the front before it opens too. There's a line down the road. There's like 20, 30 people waiting to get in to start with.
Yeah. So it's just an awesome day to be a part of, and you get to cheer on a winner, whoever it is. You're happy for them. So I'll have to mention Ben Reeves. He's been on podium every year, but hasn't come first. So he's come. I think he's come 3 seconds and third. So
that's wild.
Hopefully he gets it this
weekend.
He's so consistent, man. That's insane.
Yeah, for sure. Especially for games where you don't even know what's going to be on. Like, I think that really speaks for someone's ability
consistency.
To just pick up a game on the whim. So
I almost feel bad for beating him. Almost. He's a really nice bloke too, and a DJ. Yeah, he makes some music. Yeah, pretty cool.
But yeah, speaking about the community aspect, that's why I really want to go, because Netherworld's such an awesome place. Regardless, but it also just has an amazing community, and every time I visit Netherworld, and you catch up with people you haven't seen for a while, and it's just absolutely awesome. So let alone the competition, I just want to be there for the people, because it's fantastic.
Yeah, there's no losers in Ultimate Denizen,
There you go. See, we're all winners in our hearts.
I just hope we can recreate that, in Sydney, and find those people that I feel like they're out there. It's just, how do we find them,
Well, what's the population of Sydney compared to Brisbane? Must be a fair bit bigger.
I think it's double.
Right. Yeah. And there's plenty of us weirdos in Brizzy, so there's got to be a bunch.
At least double.
We only all know each other because of Netherworld. The podcast exists because of Netherworld. So I think you're going to find a lot of people that are just as into it as us.
I think that there's something about, though, the way that Jimmy and Ben operate that place, though, and the people that work there. I think it's more than just putting arcades and beer in a room. I don't know what it is, but I mean, Jimmy's obviously a super nice guy, and I think he's a really great leader, and I think that's a big part of it. But
he puts in a lot of work too.
So, like, just an example of just an example of how they build their community. So, Jen, my wife, she makes D&D dice. Like, she's just been making them out of resin molds, and she's done all the molds herself. And Ben from Netherworld found out she was making them through me, and has offered Jen the opportunity to sell her dice within like the D&D nights at Netherworld.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
And she's so they've got like a bit of a bone theme campaign happening. And Jen's been able to put skulls within all of the dice, so to make them theme their way.
Cool.
But yeah, just small things like that for a business owner to offer that opportunity to someone. It just shows you how passionate they are about more of the community behind the bar more than the bar itself. And I think that's what's really driving this passion.
The community engagement aspect. Yeah. Well, I guess, in a way, I feel like that's Roger's doing that by allowing, I mean, I can't speak for Mark, but I'm pretty happy to be involved, to have a few machines in there, and, I want to do events and stuff as well. So I suppose it's like the first step to that idea.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it sounds like exactly that. And that's, getting someone from Mark and John, like both of you guys, putting the arcade machines, getting people from the arcade community to run that kind of side of things. That's the start of the community.
Yeah.
So
the culture starts at the top, hey, and then it just trickles down. And you start with quality and passion, and just that's going to come through to the staff and then to the customers. And yeah, I think it's going to be awesome. I'm so excited for you guys. Yeah.
Just quickly, one other Netherworld event I want to mention is the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater competition's happening
Tomorrow.
Oh God, it's too late.
Oh, wow.
It's always a big one.
Damn it!
Who's editing this?
You wanted to mention one that happened.
Luke Bushell, he's a friend of ours. He's actually got a band playing all the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater music live at the event. Man. So,
what's the band called?
Snouts, aren't they called?
Snouts. Yeah.
Oh, you're on the spot, Neil.
No, Dennis is. So he just told me. So, but yeah,
nice.
Yeah, go check him out.
Awesome.
But you can't because the episode will be.
I
hope you enjoyed the show.
So they're called the Snouts, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the Snouts musical group. Very cool. Well, they have a Facebook page, and check them out online, guys. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for getting us together. Neil and Dennis, you sort of had this idea. It's been great.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Catching up.
And Neil.
Yeah, I suppose you guys were always around first, and then the Arcade Perfect. We're doing podcasts for gaming content in Australia, and you guys are a big reason as to why we picked this up and gave us the motivation. So huge shout out to the Play It Up podcast and the Gaming System podcast and their community. So yeah, thanks for everything you guys have done in the community, because we really appreciate it. And thank you
very much.
The Trailblazers.
No, I appreciate you saying that. That's really nice. But yeah, I've been really enjoying listening to you guys for ever since you guys started. So it's been absolutely fantastic that as we sort of hit pause, we never sort of stopped, but we hit pause. It's been great to listen to your podcast and understand what's going on a little bit closer to what's going on in the Queensland community. The Queensland community is huge. And we know all of you guys as well, not just from listening to you, but we know you in person.
Sorry.
So, yeah, it's been good.
Sorry for the body odor. Yeah.
No, that's all right.
It's normal in our circles, I think.
We're gamers. But yeah, we should definitely do more of these. Let's do more of them.
Yeah, for sure. Good fun.
Right. I'm super keen to get down to Beercade as soon as I can.
Yeah, same.
Whenever that comes up in the next weeks, months, not months. Yeah.
I reckon sort of early next year will be a go to go and make the trip for sure.
If I fly,
and I'm super keen to get up to Netherworld as soon as I can. As soon as the borders are open, I plan to head up for a weekend.
Nice.
Shit, we better time it because we might miss each other if you're like, we're going down. You guys are coming up.
Just wave as you drive past.
Surprise, Mark! I'm in your hood. What? I'm in your hood. Oh no!
Oh, that would be shitty. Hopefully, if I can fly home via Sydney, I can have a day there at least, and then go to Beercade, because that's a very worthy cause to travel for sure.
Hell yeah!
And of course, don't forget about 1989. 1989 is just down the road as well.
Absolutely.
So we can make a day of it there. All of us can catch up at 89 for a while and have a great time there, and then head off to Beercade and finish the night off there. So definitely.
Game
Yeah,
system,
he's
play it up
there's a lot-
party.
Yeah.
There's a lot of awesome games there too. I think he
I'm
said he
hungover
has
already.
50 cabs now, or something like
50.
that.
Yeah.
50. Wow.
Because he's got the whole upstairs section now as
Yep.
well.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, well,
I think he
So
said
we're
that.
finally getting some stuff happening in Sydney. It took us a while, but we got there in the end.
we'll call it
Nice.
the Tap and Balls Tour.
Oh,
Uh,
Neil,
I look
mate.
forward to it.
Everyone's gone.
Uh,
I think I love that the most.
That's the
You're back
best.
in Sean. Neil, your band now. Sorry. Yeah.
you better
Oh, yeah.
be careful. We're going to start calling Neil tapping balls soon.
No.
Yeah, that's
We're
what
going
I'm
to stick to
thinking.
him.
Hey,
better
tapping
than
balls.
It's better than what my mate Gary calls me, which is Gobby for breaking the gobble.
Oh,
That's
Bobby.
not the word.
Does he call you Gobby?
Gobby.
Well, you've done it now. Everyone's going to call you Gobby.
Yeah.
Well, Gobby can be your first name. Your last name can be Tapping Balls. It's a really extravagant porn star name.
Oh,
I don't know. Whoever's editing this is going to be fun for them at the end. But yeah, thanks for listening, everyone. Thanks for joining us, everyone. And it's been a blast.
yeah, agreed. And yeah, thanks to everyone out there listening on the Game the System podcast feed as well. This is an awesome community, and it's been fantastic to catch up with the Queensland dudes. And if you are in New South Wales and you haven't been up to Netherworld, One Up, Pincadia, is it Pincadia?
Yeah,
Pincadia.
Pincadia.
Yeah, Pincadia. Yeah. Please go, because
And
they've got an
Pinball
awesome
House.
community up there.
Still
Pinball
going,
House.
yeah.
Oh yeah, Pinball
Pinball
House.
House.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of the lesser known
yeah.
one, but yeah, it's great.
So thanks for listening. Cheers.
See ya.
Cheers.
Thank you,
That's
everyone.
one way to end it.
Bye.
Cheers, guys.
Bye.
Spacey's Cafe and Arcade in Toowoomba kindly sponsors the Play It Up podcast. If you are ever in or near Toowoomba, we think you're crazy if you don't give them a visit. Spacey's has loads of arcade and pinball machines, retro consoles, and even air hockey. They have an excellent selection of food and drinks for the whole family, and have some great beers on tap. Spacey's is open Wednesday through Sunday, and you can check them out on Facebook and Instagram to keep up to date with the awesome events they have going on there. Spacey's is located at 2 Club Lane in Toowoomba. Take a trip back to the 80s with Spacey's.